Hey everybody, this is Leslie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you about these narrow chevron bracelets that I have been making and I really like them. And I'm going to show you how to get going with this. These are narrow, but you could also make thicker ones too. I have done that also. I'm just going to show you really quick. Here's one that is a little bit thicker. So you can kind of choose your width, but I'm going to show you how to get going with this. There's a couple of components that you need to know about. First of all, we have to get going with it. So I'll show you how to start that. At the end, you'll want to make a loop to go over either a button or a bead at the end. And then I'll show you how to finish this end off, and you can either attach a button or a bead at the end here, something like this, for the loop to go over. So I will talk to you about those things. I'm going to start showing you how to get going with this. I'm going to pick a larger bead so you can see it really well. And let me set that up. Okay, what I've got here for me is some absolutely enormous beads, which are size 8 Miyuki Delica beads. I've got a couple of different colors so I can show you how to start this off. And we're going to be starting on this end, how to make a V to get started on this pattern. I've got a number 10 beading needle. I've got a couple of arm's lengths of 6-pound fireline. It's a monofilament. So I'm going to do this in a couple of different colors just so you can see what's going on. So I'm going to show you for this narrow bracelet. So for this particular one, what you're going to do is start with 11 beads. Pick up 11 beads to get going. Now you can use a stop bead. I rarely use stop beads, but that's just me. I've been working with seed beads for about 25 years, and unless I have hundreds of beads on a thread, I rarely use a stop bead. So that's 11. Okay. Actually, I'm going to make this last one a different color just so I can show you this. Okay. So what you're going to do is leave yourself a nice long tail. Leave about a foot of a tail just so you can go back and make that little loop on the end later, and you won't even have to add another thread in. You can just do that. So this is what we're going to do. Okay, so we've got our 11 beads here, and this different color bead I'm going to use as kind of a stop bead, and you'll see it's a different color when we get going. I'll show you. So what you're going to do is go into the very next bead. Okay, and that's going to get us set up for our work. So there's just going to be a thread coming out either side of this bead. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to peyote 2, 1, and 2. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like, with this bead kind of hanging out here on the end. Then we're going to do the chevron shape, which involves picking up 2 beads. See where the thread is coming out, and put them into the very next bead. This is like a herringbone increase. This is herringbone stitch. So it's going to force the beads into, if I pull on both ends there, it's going to force the beads into sort of a V shape like that. Then I'm going to peyote another 2. Big fingers in the way here. 1 and 2. That'll take me to through the 11th bead. So this is what it's going to look like. Though the beads I use for the bracelet are much smaller. I wonder what it would look like to do a bracelet like this. Could be interesting. Okay. So basically what we've got is we've got 6 rows going on this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on each side, and then we have this extra bead down here at the end. You have to have that, but it's basically the bead that's sitting there. So when we go to make our loop to go around our bead or button, we'll just have it in that kind of that position. And if you want to make a ring, I'll show you at the end with the other. I'll show you when you get finished what else we can do with it. Okay, so turn it around so that the thread is coming out in a comfortable position for beading. You can pull on both ends of this to get everything to sit right. We're going to take our thread over this bead here and into the first double bead there. It's going to be a little wonky, but if you can, make sure that this one sits in its proper position, and there'll be a little thread there on the side, which will disappear as you get going. Okay, so we're going to peyote 2 just like we did. 1 and 2. And see, that will sit right there if you just push it in a little bit. It's okay if it's a little wonky. And we're going to do our chevron increase every row, 2 over 2, and then peyote 1 and 2. Okay, so your chevron shape is established. Again, skip over the bead where the thread is coming out, go into the next one, position your thread, peyote 2, 1 and 2. Do our chevron increase. Peyote 2 on the other side. And once you have this established, you can just keep going. It's sort of a little arrow shape. So you just keep going, and that will make a strip. I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you a bracelet that I'm working on in size 11 delicas, and I will show you how to finish that off when I get there. Okay, I'm back to show you this one that I've been working on. It's in progress. Again, you can see I've got the start over here with this one bead kind of hanging out here. And I'm gonna continue on with peyote stitch, as I have shown you already. Again, 1, 2, chevron increase, and once you've got this really established, it goes pretty fast, like this. I love that you can do whatever combination of beads you like. I've got a whole bunch going here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep working on this, and when I'm at the end, I'm going to come back and show you how to finish the end, the other end. And we will talk about that. So I will be back in a little while when I've got this to the right length. Okay, I've determined that this is long enough for my bracelet. It matches the others. So now I'm gonna even off the end of this chevron shape. So I'm gonna peyote 2, 1, 2, but I'm not gonna add any length to it. So I'm not gonna put any beads there at the end. And I'm just going to go down and do the other 2 peyote stitches, 1 and 2. And then I'm going to do that one more time with the next color. I'm just going to do 1, and I'm going to go through 2 beads. See that? Not going to add anything here at the end. Go through 2 beads and peyote 1 more. So that will sort of square off the end of the stitches. That's finished. So from here, you can take your thread out to the, this is one idea. Take your thread out to the end. And add a bead. This is an 8mm Swarovski pearl. This is one idea. Add 1 bead or 3 and go back down and attach that, so that can be your end. And the loop will go around that. That's one idea. Or I sew a button on, which you can try to do that too. I'm not going to give instructions for that, but that's an option also. We need to go back and address the other end of this. Okay, now we need to address the other end of this bracelet. We need to make a loop. So this might take a little bit of experimentation because you might not know exactly how many beads you need. I also threaded this with a number 12 beading needle because I'm going to go through several times. So you might have to experiment, and that's okay. I'm just picking up some of the color I want. And you're going to go, this bead that's kind of hanging out, you're just going to integrate it in there. Go through it in the next. That's going to make your loop. You'll see there's a gap between the first 2 beads that are together down here. You can go ahead and close that. Once you've got it like that and you've got your thread around, you can do some testing to see if it's the right size for your bead or your button. This is a little too big for this. I think for my button it's going to be about the right size. Let me see. I think I'm going to use a button like this. Maybe even a little large. I might want to take one out. So you can mess around with that and see what is good, what size is good for whatever you're going to be using as a clasp. Again, once you figure it out, I would go around a couple of times, put at least 3 threads through, 4 if you can, and then hide that thread, and that will be the end of it. And I will come back when this is finished and show you that. Okay, one thing I wanted to show you was how you can connect 2 pieces. For instance, if you wanted your bracelet to be a continuous loop, a bangle, let's say, and you want it to go all the way around. What do? So just pretend this is one piece that's coming up and ending with this. So what you want to do is take this starter bead and you can kind of angle it like that. You'll see it will fit in right there. So for the first peyote stitch, you're going to pick that up and then you're going to zip together the first side, just like that. And then the second side. And you will need one more bead right there. You're going to add that in. But that's how you can make a bangle. Now you'll need to go back and secure. See, this bead is kind of hanging out. This one, the black one. But you can go back and secure that, tighten it into place with your thread. Go around a few times and just get that laying right, but it will. And that's how you can connect the two ends to make a bangle. Okay, and this one is ready. And it should work great. There you go. Or whatever clasp you have come up with. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.